Welcome to Witchcast!
Cause it's Witchcast.
I'm Emily.
I'm Kate.
And we're your co-hosts of this, the Witchcast podcast.
That's right. We're your learning, growing, ever-evolving novice witches here to explore everything under the woo-woo, esoteric, spiritual umbrella.
And what a beautiful umbrella it is. And we have some very special guests today. We're very excited to talk to them about their book.
Yes.
Heartstrings of the Khyber. We have translator and scriptwriter Shaherzaad and founder of Folkloristan, Komal. Please welcome them. Yay, thanks for being here.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Oh,
It's
we're so
our
happy
pleasure. Yeah,
to talk
absolutely.
with you both. Yes.
So just quickly, can we start with I'm sure our readers would love to hear, or our listeners.
No.
I'm sure our listeners would love to hear. Can you just tell them a little bit about who you are and how you came to this project?
So I am a writer and a daughter of a writer and translator, and I work in Pakistan, one of the Pakistan biggest TV channel, Hum TV, and I work there as script editor and writer and copywriter. So it was just a passion to write stories, to collect stories. So then I met Komal at a place we were doing internship, and there she wanted to make something interesting and about Folkloristan. So we started working, and basically she is the one who started working, and I helped her. So we are just friends who love to do work together and write something and represent Pakistan all over the world. That's the short story, and then we'll talk about the book.
Amazing. And Komal, you do a lot of work with like Pashto folklore and particularly Pakistani stuff. How did you get into that? Were you always interested?
I actually was not always interested. I was enrolled in a media degree because I decided I love history so much. I don't want to do an undergrad in it because if I go through 4 years of studying and exams, it's going to take the romanticism right out.
Right.
So I went with my next best option and I wanted to like circle back to history. And then COVID happened. I had way too much free time on my hands. We were working on a research paper for a midterm. And I read about this Japanese guy who basically published an ad in the newspaper for Japanese folktales. And then him and two of his friends gathered the biggest collection of Japanese folklore.
Wow.
And I just tweeted about it and I ended up collecting like over 100 folktales. We got an amazing response and then I didn't know what to do with them. So I made a website and then one thing just led to another.
That's
amazing. That's the Folkloristan website, right?
Yeah, that's Folkloristan.
And it is so cool. I was skimming around it and I was like, I kind of want to ask you about all of this, but it would take like 4 hours or probably 40 hours.
It's amazing. For our listeners, can you tell us a bit more about Folkloristan as the website, as this collective of, tales and history? Give us that elevator pitch.
Yes, so we started with just translating folktales from local languages because a lot of them have been written down in their respective languages, for example, Balochi, Sindhi, etc. But they're not accessible to other Pakistanis who don't speak that language. So I decided to work on bringing them into English to make them accessible for everyone in Pakistan and also outside Pakistan. And then a lot of the tales were documented during the era of British colonization and they need to be un-whitewashed and sort of retold from like a local perspective. And then we also collect stories because a lot of the work is still not documented. So that's our three-pronged approach. And then we also started a nonfiction history blog and
I love
incredible.
It.
Wait, so
go ahead, Kate. We're too excited. No. You talk.
I know, we're so excited. I was going to ask another question, but I was going to ask like, what's the process of un-whitewashing? I'm so curious. How does one do that?
Okay, so let me explain this. I think it would be best explained with an example. I was going over this story, and in the story, it was talking about this woman who was baking cakes for lunch. Now, me being Pakistani, I was very confused because cakes are not a part of our cuisine, like in any way, shape, or form, especially in the villages. And then I realized that the author was talking about a chapati, which is a staple food which we normally eat for lunch. It's meant to be eaten as a savory, and it's not meant to be eaten. It's not a cake.
Right.
So basically,
It's literally not a cake.
I love
I mean,
that.
cake for lunch
we
does
kind
sound
of go
delicious, but
through
yeah,
these
does
nuances
sound delicious, but
again.
yeah,
These nuances again.
yeah.
Would be great if we had cake every day, but it's not
But
cake.
yeah, it wasn't cake.
It sounds like such like meticulous work to have to unpack all of that because they all also, like you said, stem from so many different oral traditions. That's incredible.
Yeah, we've mentioned
And
every Urdu context and every word and with explanation,
Wow.
so that everyone can have the sense of our culture and tradition that cake is not chapati and chapati is not cake. So
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that like it comes in like in broader perspective stuff too, where if some British person wrote it down, like you're looking at
yeah,
like twisted versions of the
so
stories.
okay, maybe I'll just wait for like the next example until we start talking about the book, right?
Okay.
Because there's one set still in the book as well.
All right. Well, then I think we should talk about the book. So the book is called Heartstrings of the Khyber. How did it come about, and what do you want to tell me about it?
Yeah.
should we tell the real story?
Spill the tea.
Yeah.
Yeah, should we spill the tea?
So the tea was that it was Ramzan and I was kind of unemployed. And she was also looking for a job. And we're like, you know what, let's do something. Should we write a book and start pitching it? And she was like, yeah, sure, I'm down. So we, after Iftari, when we used to open our fast, we used to sit late at night for like 2.5 hours, work on translations. And then we're like, okay, time to pitch it. And on 31st March or 1st April, we signed our contract with Crossed Pro.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was.
So it happened pretty fast.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It was a
that is pretty fast.
random evening, and she called me. Hey, I got some very old stories, and they're very rich in Urdu. I can't translate them. I can't understand them. Will you help me in Urdu? So I was like, yeah, why not? Are we doing it professionally, or are you asking for help? She said, let's do it. Why not write a book? We are free in Ramzan. After we have a lot of time
Yeah.
after opening the fast.
Mhm.
So I said, let's do it, and that's it. Just
That's amazing.
we did it.
It's
It happened.
awesome.
It happened. And
Coincidentally,
yeah.
just after I started working on the translations with her, I saw a post by Mark Norman that he's collecting pitches for folktales. So we pitched it to them, and then things just sort of took off.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like you already had sort of the expertise and the like you were ready to go
You
in a
did
way.
so much
It's
work
like-
already. Yeah, yeah.
Ready to go.
And there's clearly such a need for this. I also love that this is bringing it to wider, like global audiences. Not only are you cementing these for, all Pakistani people, regardless of the language they speak, which I think is incredible. But then on top of that, you're also, bringing it to an English translation. You're bringing it to the Western world, like, and kind of etching them in stone in a way, in a really like faithful, authentic way. I think that's really special. Clearly there's a need for it, so of course they jumped on it. They're very smart people.
So, fun fact about one of the stories, which I think would tie in with your earlier question. One of the stories in the book, Behram or Gulandam, is about a prince and a fairy. So this was one of like this story was translated into English, and it was a part of the curriculum British colonial officers had to sit and pass in an exam before they could actually serve in the Northwest Frontier Province, which is now Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. In now the whole story kind of lost its original context because the word pari has been translated to um, they basically stated that there was a king of paris in the British translation. But in our part of the world, the paris don't have a king.
Mm.
The paris are essentially a female dominated race. So you do have parizad, which is like the male version, but the paris always have a queen. And I feel like that kind of cultural context just sort of changes how a whole community is seen through its folktales.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a huge difference. And especially like if they're coming in to then work with this and they're like, where's the king? Who do I talk to? It's like-
Yeah, just like, the ever
So there is no king.
There's no-
Sorry
there's
to
no king or no king. The
Uh,
ever permeating like colonial imperialism, patriarchy. Yes.
Yeah.
Shadow looms
Yeah.
large. So speaking of fairies, I would want to talk a bit about the supernatural aspects of your folk tales because of course we are Witchcast. So our listeners are very interested in that subject. I would love to know what role do you see through these folk tales that you spirits or magical entities, jinn, which I'm obsessed with jinn, unseen forces, how do these play in, what role do they play in your stories? What do you feel like they reveal about the lessons and the people involved in these folk tales?
So there are three major characters from the supernatural which come into play. There's the Deo, which is known as the Div in Persian. You'll find it in a lot of folklore. And then there's the Paris, which is a fairy essentially. I think that's the closest English translation. And then there's the Jinn, but the Jinn not so much because we wanted to sort of focus on romance. But there is a lot of human supernatural romance involved.
Oh, romance. And like, so what are the, how is romance between these mystical entities, creatures, forces, and humans seen? Is it like a negative thing? Is it a positive thing? Like, should we all go out and look for?
Um, with the fairies, no. With the Deozad, yes. So the Deozad are typically seen as hostile to humankind and evil.
Mm,
Fairies
fascinating.
are pretty, so
Pretty
yeah,
harmless.
harmless and cute and
It's all
beautiful.
sparkles and wings and
Sparkles,
charm.
yeah,
I love
charm.
how sparkles are universal. We all love a sparkle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just very cute vibes with fairies. So
Yeah, the connotation we have with fairy is kind of more like Tinkerbell core instead of what
yeah,
fairy is in Celtic tradition
Mhm.
or in European tradition.
in our language, we say pari. You're looking like a pari, so it's like when you're looking very beautiful. So we say you're looking like a pari.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
And
way more fun than
the
the.
word we have for mermaids is also Jalpari because
Yeah.
Jal means water, so water fairy. So they're not
Mermaid.
necessarily associated to evil. They can drown you sometimes, but you can offer them flowers as like a peace offering
Yeah.
and they will let you pass through the rivers.
We don't have evil mermaids here, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
don't
we
really
don't
have
have,
evil
yeah.
mermaids.
Right.
Well,
Not so
yeah,
much with the
they-
sirens and the ship crashing and
Yeah.
They just wanted flowers. They just need their offerings. You know, you just need to respect
Yeah.
them. I love
Yeah,
Love
that.
is love is the answer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love is
And
the
I-
Just
answer.
be a gentleman and give a woman flowers, and she
Yeah.
will let you be.
Exactly.
Bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum.
Not even.
Yes, agreed. That is throughout time, I think, has always been a truth.
Right. That's the kind of lesson they should be taking away. And are those all characters that would have existed in, like, how far back do these stories go? Are they relatively recent, or are some of them, like, how, giving the whole picture of sort of folklore, I know that's a lot, but, like, how far back are you able to go?
I think the documented stories go back at least 800-900 years. One of the stories included is Laila Majnu, which was a folktale which originated in 5th or 6th century in the Arabian Peninsula. But because it got spread so much, it was one of the first stories to be translated in writing into Pashto. And now it's just become a part of like all our folklore in general.
Awesome. Yeah, it's, I know it's hard with, like, oral
they go
tradition.
pretty far back.
Yeah, that's
Wow,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know it must have been challenging because did you receive when you first put out that call, which I love that if, of course, like during COVID, so much was destroyed, but also so much was created. And I love that you had so many responses when you asked for folk tales. Did you receive a lot of duplicates of like the same story, but told a little differently? Or like, how did you reconcile those differences because it is based a lot in oral tradition and passed down through hundreds of years?
Yeah, so I usually just add the different variations in the footnotes somewhere. And a lot of times, even within the differences, you could kind of see the pattern because there's this one story also included in the book Shirin Farhad. So this was taken from the Pashto translation, and I think the story originated in Iran. So Balochistan is the province which borders Iran, and in Balochistan they speak Balochi and Brahui. Balochi and Brahui have a slightly different version, and then that version gets a little further altered when it comes up north into Pashto.
Wow.
So you can kind of trace where the story literally came from, like on a map.
That's so cool. It's like paleontology meets
Yeah,
history.
it
Yeah,
is.
that's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah. And so how many languages do you two speak between the two of
Yeah,
you?
I was gonna ask that too.
Between the two of us, I speak 4.
Wow.
Yeah, I speak Urdu, English, and I can speak a little bit of Turkish.
Okay.
And yeah, I can read Persian. We can read Arabic
Wow.
Yeah,
independently.
that's
I mean,
awesome.
I
I was
And,
gonna
speak
and our
say, I mean,
local
one.
and our local language, Punjabi, from where we belong. So Punjabi is our
Yeah,
local language.
yeah,
I mean, neither of these four really count because I speak Urdu as a first language, and my parents come from two different ethnic groups,
right.
which is why I speak Urdu at home. So I know the mother tongues of both my parents, and then of course I know English because I was schooled in English, so
Right.
they don't really
I
count.
mean, I think that
I
still
mean,
counts. I think it
Yeah.
still counts.
I mean,
yeah.
No extra.
yeah, I don't really speak an extra language.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn Persian.
I
I
mean, that's
mean,
amazing. I was just thinking with as you collect all these stories, I'm sure
yeah.
it's challenging to because there's such a wide like set of language groups in the area. Like,
So our volunteer team on Folkloristan, actually we took volunteers from every region.
Amazing.
So we kind of have a collective team. We have a Sindhi speaker on our team. We have people who speak Brahui, Balochi, Pashto, um, Hindko, Punjabi, and also some of the languages from Gilgit-Baltistan.
wow,
That's so
that's
cool. And that's also great because not only are you getting, authentic translations, but you're also getting that cultural authenticity too, because the people who are
Yeah.
from these regions, from these cultures, are able to say, oh, yes, I know this, or oh, this seems a little off. I mean, take note, everyone, diverse writers' rooms are important.
And so, how was the process actually working on the book once you got into
Yeah.
it?
2 hours per day.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it
think
was
two
2 hours
and
per
a
day.
half hours per
2
day.
cups of tea.
Yeah.
Two
Yeah.
cups
2
of
cups of
tea
tea per
and
day.
yeah, strong tea, and just some
And
scolding from our mothers. And
yeah,
saying, what are you doing? Just do the work.
yeah, they're like, you guys are not helping around the
Yeah,
house. And
because there is a lot of work in Ramzan because
yeah.
it's kind of feast every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to do a lot of work and dishes and everything. So my mother and our mother was very pissed
Yeah,
off.
we
And
used to just hole up in our bedrooms
yeah,
and like
just
start working.
It's a
Yeah,
little like
amazing.
feminism. You're allowed to go work.
What
Tea and a lot of cigarettes for me.
nice. I mean, are you a writer if you don't smoke?
yeah, my only cigarette was tea. So
Just tea, lots of
that
tea.
was enough for me, and she was always smoking.
Everyone needs a little bit of advice. I believe you need something.
Yeah.
How was it working with a Western publisher? Like, because you work Cross Crow Books is we've interviewed quite a few of their authors. There seem like a wonderful publishing group, but I wonder if what that conversation's like working with a Western editor, and like, did you feel like you had to educate a little bit as well through the process, or were they really supportive?
So luckily, our editor, she was Italian, and I think in white people, Italians are kind of like brown people culturally. They're
Oh,
loud,
I
they
say
have
this
great
all the
food,
time. I say this all the
and they
time.
get
Yes,
it.
yes, yes. Agreed.
Yeah, they just get it.
Let's just get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Italians are like honorary brown people to us.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that hard.
No, I literally say that all the time. I feel like Italian and
But
Irish.
there were some
So funny.
confusions regarding
Yeah,
our title, and
the
we
cover
couldn't
page
understand.
was kind of difficult.
Mm.
I had to record a video explaining the different styles we wear.
Yeah,
Our
this
headwear.
girl was not looking like this girl at first place.
at
Mm.
first
Yeah.
She was looking like all American.
Because when people think headgear, they automatically, I think, the artist, because obviously she was also most likely based in the US, she kind of went with the style of hijab which American Muslims wear,
Right.
which was sort of Arab or like westernized, and then we're like,
Also,
nope, not it.
Pashtun culture is also very different from our culture too. If I'm a Punjabi, I don't wear those clothes. I don't wear that jewelry. I don't look like that girl. I don't have that complexion. I don't have that skin. I don't have that eyes.
Mhm.
And we have a lot of differences inside our country. So
Yeah,
it was very
people-
difficult. If you search Pakistani girl, the Pashtun girl won't come on at first search. So it was very difficult to tell them that do not use that jewelry, do not use that skin tone, we want that veil, we want that face. So yeah, it was all her credit because she's the artist, illustration artist.
Wow,
So
incredible.
she do all of that, those drawings. So it was just all of her hard work paid
like
off.
Emily, if you came to Pakistan and we take you for a visit to KP, you could pass off as a local.
That's so
Wow.
funny.
That's incredible.
You
Yeah.
could 100% pass off as a local. Nobody would know.
Yeah.
That's,
It's so
And
yeah.
people
true.
don't necessarily think light brown hair, blue eyes, green eyes, fair skin when they think of Pakistan.
Yeah. It's
So
right.
that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
kind of tricky territory
We
to
are
navigate
the,
through.
we have the average Pakistani girl
Yeah.
face, so
Right. Yeah.
we don't count as Pakhtun.
Well, it's a
That
it's a
was
beautiful face. It's beautiful faces. I think that people,
thank you.
the Western world has become a melting pot, especially the Americas, for better or for worse. And so people, at least for me, when I grew up here and took classes, I didn't learn much about, South Asia. And it's such an expansive, such a diverse uh area, and like so many different nuances. So I'm glad you were both like very strong and steadfast in your representation. Like, good job. That's great. That's hard to
Yeah,
do.
my mom's Pakhtun, so yeah.
So you were like, I know this. Let me guide you.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I will actually send you a picture of Mama over email after the podcast, and you'll figure what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Please,
no,
yes.
please,
Send us
yeah.
all the photos. We love to post also on our Instagram too. But we'd love to have a picture of you both as well, and anything else you want to share.
Yeah, it helps like contextualize the discussion, and for people that could go
because it is an audio only medium, so it's nice.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit more about like faith, superstition, everyday magic. Do you find that there is tension between religious tradition and folk belief play out in the tales that you've collected? And can you speak a little on that?
Um. Okay, so magic traditionally, like in our part of the world, a lot of magic happens. We call it kala jadoo, and it happens a lot. But people don't discuss it out loud, so it's not a part of the folktales because it's considered to not be nice, and also it's genuinely very harmful. And for the rest of it, yeah, I don't think that faith really clashes because faith has just kind of gotten ingrained in the culture.
Yeah.
Because people in this part of the world have been Muslims for a very long time. The conflict comes in ways you wouldn't necessarily expect because I think Pakistanis are a lot more culturally conservative than religiously conservative.
Mm.
So if we were actually following religion, I think our lives would be way easier.
What can you tell me a bit more about that difference? What is like culturally conservative versus religious conservatism? Like can you expound on that?
Like for example, culturally speaking, the practice here has been not to give daughters their due inheritance and property because people tend to pass off their property to their sons, and girls usually get gold. But Islamically speaking, I am entitled to a share in my parents' property, as is my sister.
Right.
As if I had a brother, he'd be entitled as well.
Yeah.
So differences like that.
Yeah. I love that you made that note in the foreword of your book. Is your like I think it was in the author's note of the foreword of your book too, of just that these folk tales are rooted in a lot of history and a lot of Asian, traditional values, because you are translating into English for, a primarily Western audience. I think that's so important because I do think that that's something that is a disconnect, like at least I know like in the Asian American community, we're always kind of like complaining or joking that, our American friends, our Caucasian friends or whatever, are like, just stand up to your mom. And like, that's not possible, so even with an
I do
immigrant mom,
understand.
so it's like those kind of tensions and cultural differences are important to call out when you have to translate kind of all the time. So that's
Yeah, so there was basically this one story of a girl, um, like her parents were going to wed her to one of her cousins, but she already had someone else, so she didn't want to marry her cousin. She ran away on the night of her wedding. And even though she ran away with her man, she did not marry him. She told him, first, you have to go and convince my dad. So he actually went and asked her dad for forgiveness. The father gives her permission, and then she gets married.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is an incredible difference. But also really fun story.
so respectful.
We're gonna elope, please.
Yeah,
We
please.
go to war, but we will stay respectful.
Yeah. Looking at the book again, which is, by the way, for our listeners, available now from Crossroad Books and online. Do you have any favorite stories or any stories that really sort of stuck with you after working through it?
Yeah, there is a story that stuck with me forever.
Ooh,
There's this,
give us a little taste.
and it was so fun. It was so fun translating it that we would laugh so hard that I can't even tell you. It's a story. It's Jalat Mehbooba. It's in the book, and there's a guy who is willing to do everything for the girl, and even he gets inside wooden structure, wooden sculpture of a lion, and gets into the bedroom of the girl. So that was so funny, and
So
it
the
was
girl,
unbelievable.
the girl in question is a princess, and the king wanted her to be
Yeah.
killed as soon as she was born, but the baby girl was very pretty, so all of the king's wives they decided to hide her. And then she grows up, the guy sees her, they fall in love with each other at first sight, and then the guy wants to find a way to meet her and like kind of sneak her out. And yeah,
The
so
guy already lost six of his brothers.
yeah,
Oh.
so the king has
Out-
said that if you
yeah.
make your way through the maze, only then can you marry my
There was a
daughter.
maze
Oh
to
my
get to the
gosh.
So
daughter.
before he goes through the maze, he decides to speak to the girl, like sneak into the palace and speak to the girl, convince her, and then she, in the end, it's her who leads him through the maze.
Oh,
And very
Oh.
smart
Then they
girl.
go back to his kingdom.
that sounds great.
But yeah, he hid inside a lion statue to look at it.
That's
And the
amazing.
statue was made of gold because one of his friends who's a goldsmith made that.
Whoa.
Oh.
Man did not play.
Yeah, it's basically why I love that story is it's just a guilty pleasure. I think there are situations that you cannot even imagine
Yeah.
when you're writing something like that. So because I'm a writer and I'm a script writer, I need situations
Right.
to to write situations and scenes and dramas and Pakistani dramas. So when I read that story, I was like, wow, man, what a smart brain! Like, you want that girl and you're willing to do everything,
Yeah.
and it was very smart situation. So yeah, and the funniest story we have translated.
And then he also dressed up as a woman to sneak
Yeah.
into the palace. To sneak in
This
as a
is
queen.
amazing. I feel
And
like
then
you
get
should maybe
elected.
take from this and write a movie or
Yeah, I
drama
think we
episode.
should make something out of
Yes.
it. That
Yeah.
was an interesting story.
And then now guys are like, let's 50-50 over coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Venmo.
Oh,
Yeah, men are just not getting in gold statues of lions anymore for women, I swear.
Right. Yeah. Whatever happened to chivalry?
We are expecting our mans to
Yeah.
get in that gold statue, dress up as a girl.
If
Yeah.
you really love me, just as a woman. Amazing. I love that.
Men are acting like women nowadays, but they're not dressing up like women. So we want them to do that.
Yep.
It's amazing.
And that was the interesting part of our other stories were also interesting, but some stories pissed us off that there was so much tragedy and
Yeah.
killing.
yeah, it was
and
just
it was so
violence.
yeah.
Like even though we wrote in the notes that these are rooted in cultural norms from several hundred years ago, despite the fact that we live in the same culture, we don't live in the same time frame.
Yeah.
So like the culture has evolved and it's mellowed down a lot.
Right.
So sometimes it was too much even for us to take in.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
such a great line. We live in the same culture, but not in the same time frame. I feel like I feel like that's a universal experience because if you think about it, like the Brothers Grimm fairy tales are incredibly violent. All the stories that Disney bases their movies on actually are
Yeah.
incredibly violent. I know a lot of like East Asian, like Korean folktales are also really sad and violent. So I think that's just because a lot of times it was to teach these. I feel like these folktales were created to instill lessons, to warn children of dangers, to keep them safe. And how do you keep them safe? You scare them. So I think that's so inherent to the nature of these types of stories.
And I feel like the way we experience violence or the kind of violence we're used to today has just kind of changed.
Absolutely.
Like in the past, people used to murder each other over family feuds, but like both of us, we grew up during the war on terror.
Right.
So there were like bomb blasts every day, every other day in the city.
Right.
Yeah.
We had to, like, it used to be a whole conversation that, okay, there's been a bomb blast in so and so corner of the city today. So that means tomorrow the other end of the city should be fine so we can go get our groceries.
Right. Wow.
So I feel like despite the fact that that kind of desensitized us to violence, it's still a different kind of violence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's a very different, experience to, but also horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
But women are very strong in our stories. The stories we wrote, they were very
Yeah,
empowered and they knew
despite
what we have to do.
despite the patriarchy, you
Yeah.
notice that there is a sphere which is entirely dominated by women,
Yeah.
and it is never a man's business to enter that.
Love that. Big fan of that.
Very empowered heroines we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heroines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. It must have been fun to sort of, I mean, obviously, whenever you're reading things from the past, it's like you're discovering a lot about that time period and about the people that were sort of thinking through these. And it's, I mean, it's fun to see that there would be, like these strong female characters, and also like, oh my God, this gore. And like, I mean, when you go back and read like traditional Irish folktales and stuff, there's like a guy cuts his hand off and throws it to win a race. And it's like, that's shocking, but it's,
But smart.
but it like, but
Sometimes we used to just look at the way the girls in these stories are behaving, and I was just like, if I did that, my mom will just take off her chappal, like her shoe, and it's gonna come straight for me.
yeah, right.
The universal mom
Nothing
sandal.
less.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But
I think that's an Asian mom thing,
yeah.
Asian and African
Although I
moms.
know Mexican and like Latin American, Latino moms, they're the same way, the chancla. So it crosses cultures. But I was gonna say, I wonder if that's because also to these strong, empowered like women characters. Not only I think do they make better stories, right? Like I was just thinking, stories often folk tales. I was thinking, do they tend to skew more? Well, let me ask you because you're experts. Do you find new folk tales tend to skew more towards drama, tragedy, versus comedy? How did you find that they filtered down when you started to go through the collective?
Uh, okay, so we're not big on comedy. We have a knack for tragedy. Even most of the folk tales besides this book, like the romances I've worked on, moral of the story: A, do not fall in love. B, do not fall in love with somebody outside your tribe or outside your ethnicity. Case closed.
Yeah, just do not fall in love.
Yeah, just don't fall in love.
Yeah, non-starter. Yeah.
Single forever or
Yeah, so
nothing.
we had some happy endings and we had some sad endings and some very sad endings. So
So
we
typically, stories
did
with
them.
fairies and the supernatural involved lean towards happier endings
Wow.
because I feel they were geared towards children.
Mm.
And then the stories for adults have far more mature themes, and because a lot of these tales were penned by Sufi writers, so there's also that element of losing yourself only to find God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, because I feel like it must be just not maybe more difficult to pass down like happier stories. I feel like the just traumatic stories always stay in our minds longer in a way. So like I'm just thinking like it's historically like of course it makes sense to me that the sadder endings, the more traumatic endings would kind of withstand the test of time because they really get ingrained in your mind, and are passed down.
There are a lot of funny anecdotes, but you find them in tales like Sindbad or Amir Hamza or even animal fables. So, like, the humor was mostly for children.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then I
We don't
wonder
do
too,
that
like
in
with the strong women characters, if maybe because women in the home in the villages, like, they're the ones a lot of the times I would imagine telling the tales, telling them to their children, etc. If that maybe I'm just guessing. I'm not a I'm not a sociologist or historian, but like I wonder if that also
I
had an
feel
effect.
like definitely women were telling the stories, but it's different here because a lot of the stories are also retold by men. So men and women tend to have gatherings separately. So boys, when they're a little older and they're old enough to go out with their brothers and their cousins and their fathers, they tend to sit in all male spaces where people usually sing these with musical instruments. So like it's a whole thing going on.
And we have that in Jalad Mehbooba. The starting of
Yeah,
Jalad Mehbooba story is a gathering
Right.
where the boys and men are sitting, and one of the elder men comes and start telling the story with rabab and
Oh.
hookah, shisha, and it's a very beautiful gathering, and people tell stories and with music, and
And
they
that's
sit
it.
together.
I also feel like today we just look at empowered women very differently.
Mhm.
But back in the day, despite the fact that the spheres, like the domestic sphere and the work and earning sphere, were kind of split, which in agricultural communities they were not, because everybody was working on the same farm essentially. Women did enjoy a lot more mobility and a lot more autonomy back in the day.
Wow.
Because in nomadic groups specifically, like the Pashtuns were primarily a nomadic group, um, women did enjoy far more autonomy, and also most women were trained to fight, because when you're a nomad, you need to know how to fight, you have to know how to hunt,
Yeah.
all of that. So I think things really changed when people settled down in one place, and then after colonization, they took a turn for the worse.
I don't remember any woman in our story who was in the kitchen. She was
Yeah,
every
Wow.
woman was fighting for the love of her life, and
no,
she's using knives, and
Yeah,
she's just
Good for
doing
her.
incredible.
Yeah, there you
Colonization
go.
strikes again.
So the book is super interesting. Do you have anything else you're working on right now?
We're planning to.
yeah, we're planning to.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I feel like you have so much to share. There's got to be a part 2 or something coming our way already.
For Ramzan, I think.
Yeah, I think we're just gonna wait for next Ramzan and then work, because we really
Perfect.
like romance lore from other ethnic groups also.
Ooh, fun.
Yes,
As
That'll
the
be exciting.
Pakistani young girls, we are very frustrated to represent our positive side to the Western world. So
yes,
I think we have to take that responsibility and do that. And I think we are 1% successful because you have read the book, and I think you have a little bit different image of Pakistan in your mind now.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, and we hope everyone else will too. So, speaking of that, how can folks buy your book, learn more about you? How can they follow Folkloristan?
So we have an Instagram page, Folkloristan. It's just at Folkloristan. We also have a website, which is folkloristan.com. The book is available on Amazon, Waterstones, Crossrow Books themselves. Just Google whatever retailer is near you, because I think they have different retailers for America, Canada, Europe, and other markets.
Cool.
Incredible.
And should we pull a card real quick?
Yeah, let's pull a card. I'm so excited. I can't.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you
was
so-
really fun. Thank you so much
thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much for being part of this.
Thank you for having us.
We could
Yeah.
talk for so long.
Yeah.
And like
Okay, so-
listeners, highly recommend this book. It's
Yes,
great.
highly recommend. Okay, so the deck I chose is the closest I could get to South Asian culture, but it's my Korean Four Seasons Hwatu Oracle deck.
A little further east.
A little further east. We're like cousins. We're like distant cousins. And this is different than a traditional tarot deck that based on, say, like Rider-Waite-Smith. It's based on Korean folklore and really centered around the seasons. So this is what like the back of the cards look like.
Oh,
That's
pretty.
It
very
has like
pretty.
red foil edges, yeah. And what I pulled is, I don't know because there's no text on it.
Yeah.
But I'll read you what the book says. It's looks like
Is that a bird?
yes, it is a bird. I'm so bad at identifying birds. Some sort of crane over mountains in a stormy sky. So let me just quickly pull up.
Are
what
the
book
cards
says.
numbered?
Nope, there's no numbers at all. They really want you to just
It's a very
you know.
inscrutable deck.
Oh look, I pulled right to it. It's called January Emergency Landing parentheses danger.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Oh no.
We're not
crane
starting
sit-
our next year with emergency
Yeah,
landing.
please. I think I've had enough of that this year.
I know. Well, hold on. Let's see what it says. Let's see how we interpret it. Okay, so it says a crane tries to sit somewhere with an uneasy wing. It may be that he did not know where his destination was when he got separated from the crowd, but found out afterward. It starts to snow in the dark sky far away. If he doesn't hurry and find a place to rest, he would be in trouble. If a stronger wind blows and the cold gets stronger, his safety will not be guaranteed. However, unlike his urgency, there is no comfortable shelter. That's not a however. Okay, he cannot afford to look around. Even though the place doesn't look very comfortable to land, he has no choice. He's facing a situation contrary to his will. It is unknown whether he created the present situation, which did not seem to be of any advantage, or whether it was a coincidence of fate. but it is a sad moment. Okay, hold on. Keywords: anxious because it is difficult to know the success or failure of the decision made in a hurry. It is trouble as the path is not as wanted. It is difficult to move on because situations and conditions do not follow. Have to make a quick turnaround. It is good to be secluded for a while. Have to make a plan while waiting for time to pass. When doing it with a temper, it will ruin the work. See, so it's not all folktales have happy endings.
So we're saying no hasty decision making.
Yes.
I think the grain is me at a protest.
Oh no.
Oh no. Be careful out there.
Yeah.
Fun fact about protests. The latest urban legend in Pakistan, which has kind of become a part of pop culture lore, is a shark. So, the shark apparently likes to munch on fiber optic internet cables, and the entire country faces either an internet outage or
Yes.
horrible speeds of the internet
Yeah.
every time there is a public gathering scheduled to happen that week or like in a few
Oh.
It's our latest legend, and I think we should write
Wow.
something. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very modern legend. I
There's
love that.
internet outrage. There's shark. Oh, there's a shark who just
Yeah,
munched
sure.
on an optical
Will not
cable.
be able to watch your show.
Deep into
That
Deep
was
into Indus waters.
literally what came on the news. That a shark has bitten off the internet cables. Make it make sense.
deep down the seas.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I think I've
There's
heard
no
about
internet,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah. Because there's like literally fiber optic cables under the ocean.
Oh
Yeah.
my
And in
god.
Pakistan,
We
we
never
believe
thought about
that.
the sharks.
The fun part, we believe it
The
in
fun
Pakistan.
part was the first time they told this lie was I think 10 years ago
Yeah,
or something, and people actually bought it.
Yeah.
And then people
Right.
were like,
Yeah,
nah, this isn't shark, this is just Islamabad.
Yeah.
it's just government.
Yeah,
messing
that's
up
why
with
your
us.
internet bill's so high. It was the shark. It was the
Yeah, it's the,
always passing.
Yeah, it was the
now
shark.
anything happens, it's the shark. So anything happens,
Yeah.
People have even given him a name in the memes, so it's Shamshiruddin Shark.
yeah. Fighter,
I like
Oh my
that.
gosh, she
the right
should get
shark.
merch. She should have a t-shirt.
Well, I'm
the
going to start blaming a
message of-
shark for our internet problems.
Yeah, we're gonna just blame the shark always. I feel like the lesson maybe we can impart from this card, because I also know we're recording this just at the end of October. I heard November has several retrograde planets. It might be cosmically.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the New York City election. It's like the mayoral election.
Well, that I mean, there's a lot going on. We all know there's a lot of tension, difficult. We're in a rough patch of history right now ourselves.
are.
Thank
Yeah,
you
yeah.
so much.
Yeah, thank you so
Komal,
much for
so nice
having
to
us.
meet you.
We'll tag you on our Instagram. Yeah,
Yay.
you're both such a delight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
Thanks
much
for
for
having
having
us.
us.
It was lovely.
And you can follow us on the internet at witchcastpodcast.com, at witchcastpodcast on Instagram. You can email us at witchcastpodcast@gmail.com. And while you're on the internet, you're always welcome to leave us a 5-star review. It helps other people find
5
us,
stars.
and boy, it makes our day.
Yes.
So we'll tag everything on our socials. We'll put it on our website.
Yes.
And until next time,
Heck yeah.
Cause it's Witchcast.